folks, it's time for an update video. The last time you guys saw me, I was heading out west in the 7. We're off to a good start. Heading out west in the 77, and I've since returned back here to the Northeast. Some good, some bad. Coming back here, but I had a lot of stuff happen over the summertime, and it was a pretty busy year. A lot of life navigation, I guess you could say. And I kind of wanted to get everybody up to speed on what's going on with business and whatever else, because I've had some of you guys on YouTube reach out wondering if I was still out west. I've had customers reach out thinking I was still out there as well, and word hasn't gotten around to everybody, so I figured it's time to kind of get a video up and let everybody know what's going on. So let's see. So there's a lot of reasons as to why I pretty much ran out to Wyoming. Not physically, I got long legs, but why I ran out there and reasons why I came back. Some of it, a good portion of it, I guess, probably is personal, so I'm not going to get into that, but I will kind of catch up to speed on some other reasons as to why I headed out there and the reasons why I get back. And I've done this video a few times now, so hopefully I can keep all my thoughts in a row. I've been wanting to get this out to you guys for a couple months now. I got home September 22nd, and it's just tough figuring out what I want to put in this video and what I want to say and how in depth I want to get with it. So we'll go from here and kind of see where things go. So I guess the basis of it, so that way you get the main info off the bat if you don't want to listen to me yab here for a number of minutes. I am going to be in New England now permanently. I'm going to be moving to southern New Hampshire, as I talked about for years, preferably in Hillsborough, Cheshire, Sullivan, or Merrimack County, that lower set of counties in the western part of the state. I always wanted to go up there, but there was always something dragging me out west in my heart that I just had to follow, and now that I followed it, I can come back here confidently to run my business, move up to New Hampshire, settle down on a nice piece of property, and live the life that I want to live with my antique tractors, trucks, and maybe a horse someday, if I'm fortunate enough and if I can find enough time to take care of one. But that's what I'm shooting for. Jake's General Repair is open for business. I started scheduling service work on the road a month before I got home, and shop work. So when I got home, I had a full growing schedule for work. I'm at the tail end of my service truck schedule. I got to finish a couple jobs up until next spring. So I'll be scheduling stuff over the winter for the springtime. So if anybody has stuff they need done, for the customers that will see this, you got to get a hold of me and I can get you on the list for the spring. Shop work, Gravely's, antique garden tractors, Kohler engine rebuilds, stuff like that. I'm not doing too much of because my dad redid the garage while I was gone, and I don't want to mess it up by working out of it full time. I'm still going to work out of it, but I'm not going to take the volume that I did before I left. I'm still going to be working on Gravely's, and I'm still going to be working on antique garden tractors. I don't know if I'm going to be rebuilding the Kohler K series while I'm here. I'm still up in the air about that. But everything else that I was doing before, I will continue to do here, just on a smaller scale. No homeowner equipment, but the antique garden tractors, old equipment, old like antique snow blowers and antique push mowers are fine, but I'm not working on Joe Schmo's stuff that I just bought at Home Depot a year ago. Kind of got rid of all that a few years ago because it wasn't much of my business. 90% of my business has always been the antique equipment. So getting off track. Anyways, so I'm back open for business. I'm scheduling work. I don't know how much I'm going to take over the winter time. I will still keep taking shop work, but I do have some of my own projects I want to get to. I have a lot of work to do on the four-wheel drive Gravely to get ready for plow day in April, so I can hopefully make that. I've been picking up equipment since I've been home. You go a couple months without buying old iron, you just gotta you gotta spend your money when you get home. So I picked up some neat stuff, a 49 Frazier rototiller that's been in the garage since the 70s. I picked up a Big Planet Junior, a Boland's Handy Hoe, and I have to finish a Toro sickle bar mower from the 30s. I think it was from the 30s. And I want to do videos on all this stuff too. And I always say that in update videos and I never do it, but let me kind of keep navigating here and I'll tell you guys why I think it's going to be a thing now if I can get everything managed here and situated the right way with work. So let's see, when I headed out to Wyoming, I was running from a lot of stuff, I guess you could say. personal junk. The basis of it was I had to get out of here. I've known nothing but central New England and New England my whole life. I just turned 31 at the beginning of November. I've never been anywhere but here, and of course Pennsylvania a couple times for tractor shows or the plow day. And I just had to get out. I've almost been romancing the West, and a lot of this, hopefully I don't repeat myself from what I went over in the Western video, Heading West video, but we'll see. Been romancing that for a long time. Something in my heart always was pulling me out there. I just felt like that was more so my place, where I would fit better, where I'd feel more at home, and all that mushy stuff, I guess you could say. And thing is, I really loved it out there, folks. I love the landscape. I love the way it felt being out there, the people that I met, the way of life. Now, the ranching way of life is not my way of life, but I like just the slower pace and just more down-to-earth normal people. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. And I do want to continue to go back out there to explore and to visit the ranch that I worked at and all that. Worked at a dude ranch for 4 months, maintenance mechanic, part of that team. Easiest, most boring job I've ever worked. There was nothing to it. Learned a lot about irrigation, but it was really, really easy, but it was fun. I had a great experience out there. I grew a lot over the summer, being out on my own for the first time, which kind of stinks that it took 30 years to actually go out on my own, but I never went to college, I never moved out of the house. I couldn't afford anything around here for an apartment to move out, plus I'm running my business out of my parents' house, so it's kind of counterintuitive to go rent a place for $1,500 to $2,000 a month and then come here for 70% of my day to work and do everything. I'd just be sleeping there, really. So I've kind of toughed it out, but I have to get out if I'm going to want the life, if I want the life that I want. If I want to get the life that I want, something like that. So I went out there with the intention of starting another Jake's General Repair out west, finding a job on a ranch, mechanic job, something like that. And around mid-August, I went through a lot of changes throughout the summer, sorting stuff out, in here, in my head, the stuff I always thought about. And by the time mid-summer came around, I came to the determination that I was coming back to New England. And I realized that what I had built here for a business and for the hobbies and my collection and my tractors and the people I know, this is the life I want. I built the life that I want, and I didn't even realize it, and I left it all behind. And folks, it is true what they say, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And they always say that about relationships most of the time. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife. When you get rid of somebody that was good, you didn't realize what you had until they were gone. And in my case, I didn't realize the life that I had built for myself until I completely got rid of it and closed everything up. And I'm very thankful that I was able to come back and start everything up again and just kind of pick up where I left off. I'm not as busy as what I was, but it gives me time to breathe, take care of some of my own equipment, and figure out what I want to do from here going forward, rather than just be working straight out and having too much work. I'm still working a lot, don't get me wrong on that, but I don't have a service list that's a mile long with time constraints. I'm busy, I have a full schedule, and it's just not as pressing as what it was. So that's why I came back, is because we have all the truck shows and the tractor shows and the cruise nights and the car shows and the drag strips and all that stuff that I love to go to, and the flea markets and junk like that they don't have out west. They have tractor shows and there's truck shows, but they're very spread out, not as easy to find. People do have antique tractors and trucks out there, but they don't have that community and the culture like we do in the Northeast, and like pretty much almost everywhere in the United States, except for a good portion of that western strip where Wyoming and all that is, because there's stuff in California, there's stuff in the Pacific Northwest, Texas, pretty much from Iowa east is where everything is. And once you get to the Dakotas, a lot of stuff drops off. Love the country out there, would love to live out there, but my passions and the stuff I love isn't there. And the antique tractors and the trucks and running my business is what I love. So I was able to come back here with a renewed outlook on my business, on life, a new passion for it, and that's really important to me, because the past couple of years I was always looking for a reason to go on, a reason to keep doing this, and I had to get rid of it to find that reason. And the reason is I absolutely love what I do here. That's why I can do this as a full-time job throughout the week and continue it as a hobby and still love it. And a lot of people can't do that. They get burnt out on it. I guess you could argue that I got burnt out before I went to Wyoming. But I think a lot of it was just because I've always been in this circle of New England, and I had to get out and see the world. Like I've been telling people, see if the world is round, and satisfy curiosity. And I did that. And now I can come back here confidently and work on moving to New Hampshire, work on building my business, and get back into the tractor hobby and really just kind of actually enjoy it now, knowing I love to do what I do. And I like to set up my life where I can go out to Wyoming every year or two and go out west and keep exploring and see what's out there, because I met a lot of great people out there, some of which I would really like to see again and spend time with. So that's the basis of it and the reason why I came home. And just like when I left, it was so easy to close up and follow my heart out to Wyoming. Coming back, it was so easy to leave Wyoming and come back to the Northeast. Now, in some aspects, I was a lot happier out west in Wyoming, and in some aspects, I'm happier back here in New England. I'm more comfortable with who I am in New England living here, because I always I always figured I would fit in better out west, and I did. But my place is here in New England. You know when you fit somewhere, and you know when you don't, and you know what feels right, and you know what doesn't. So that's kind of what I'm getting after. So I'm going to be heading up to New Hampshire. I'm kind of at the mercy of the market right now. I'm hoping that over the winter time, some stuff will turn up, and sometime next year, I just have to patiently wait and see what turns up. I obviously have the down payment for the house, property, whatever I find. It's just a matter of finding the right place. And I kind of believe that now that I'm back here with a clear head and a clearer path, that I think the right place will turn up. I just kind of have that feeling now, because before I was looking for stuff, but there was always something in the back of my mind, like I said, pulling me away from here, just having to satisfy that other curiosity of the West and just taking off on my own. So now that I got that out of my system, so to speak, I'm very confident about moving somewhere in northern New England and just living my life, to whatever I want. So that's what I'm going to shoot for now. If next year I want to get into, I'm going to see if I can get into brush hogging and field mowing, because I do have a couple of jobs. I do reoccurring jobs throughout the year. One is a housing estate, and a couple of them are just regular pieces of property, and I really do like doing that. So I'm going to see if I can advertise for that. I picked up a 5-foot brush hog for the Ford 641, because the flail mower is really not good for brush hogging, and I want to get more into that just as a nice offset from the road service truck and break things up, and I get to drive around in my tractor too. So I'm going to see if I can restructure business a little bit in the coming year to something that better suits me and manage it a little bit better as well, now that I've kind of took a step back and then I'm coming back to it. But I'm going to keep doing what I do, folks. So the 77 did great out there. All I did was feed it fuel out and back, 0 issues. I got about 12 and a half miles on the way out, 11 and a half on the way home. It ran about 63, 64, 65 miles an hour, usually 63 or 64 on average. Ran about 2,900 to 3 grand, average right around 2,900 RPM, and it went through about half a quart of oil every 500 to 600 miles. So I know the engine has got some time on it, but it ran strong. I had it all over the mountains out there, river crossings, up past the rockers, just crawling around in Granny Low for hours on end. It was so much fun, and I finally get to live out that dream of just taking an old truck through the mountains, driving an old truck cross country, and of course seeing the West. So I kind of killed killed a lot of birds with one stone over the summertime, which was really fulfilling for me. And I came back with a better mentality, and I came back to the Northeast, for all I'm concerned, a better man. I know more of who I am now. I'm more comfortable with who I am. I have a clearer path on where I want to be in life, and I'm aiming to get there and get after it. And that's just what I intend to do. So anyways, folks, that's the update. All right, folks, we're going to cut this one short because I ended up talking way too long in this video again. So anyways, folks, until the next time, there you have it.
Just off the road leading into the town is where Dusty lived, down by the tracks, where every train's beaten by raise the dust from the ground by her fanny shack. She could have been any rich man's queen. She was pretty enough, that's a fact. I still don't know why, but for some reason I was the reason she never looked back. Oh, Dusty, just one more time, let me trust in your heart like you trusted mine. I'm on a road leading off in the dew, always leads back to you.
Nope.
Not every tale has such a happy ending. Days will slip by like a train, but just the thoughts of my dust is befriending, is shelter enough from the pain. Someday I'll find her place by the river, far from this dusty old town. That's where her bare feet will never be dusty again when the sun goes down. Oh, Dusty, just one more time, let me trust in